What's going on, everybody? TripleCrown24 back today, and I am finishing up the Shipshewana vlog, kinda. It's not going to be the full normal vlog you're used to me. There's going to be a lot of exposition in this one again. There's a lot of deals that I kind of want to really talk about that will tie into a larger topic that I'm going to discuss at the end of the video. So hang tight. Hope you enjoy this one. How's it going today?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
Good. I'm going to take those two Jose's.
All right.
We'll start there. I have that. We'll just go there.
Alrighty. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's a good way to start your morning with a sale. No negotiation. Just straight up took them at my sticker price. It was very friendly. Picked out a few cards. Jose Ramirez and Bobby Witt Jr., who, as a Tigers fan, it's probably odd to see those in my case. But hey, I respect the great players, the elite players in the game. So I'm very pleased with how that started off in the show, and it gives me kind of more confidence in what I'm going to talk about at the end of the video.
Wait, I'm going to take that sticker here.
Can I look at the soda?
Yeah.
I'm not a soccer guy, it's my son.
The sodas? Yeah. How do you comp it? I'm just curious.
I bought it. So,
You bought it?
Yeah. So then I put a little extra. A couple weekends ago, I don't know why, but I threw in like a dozen snipes on random super fractors that I thought were cool.
For a drone.
And I do that every once in a while, and that was the only one I won. I have no shame in showing what I paid for this soda. Here it is right here. I'm the one who bought it off of eBay, and yes, I have it out of my case. This isn't something I do too often, but you can get good deals on eBay. When I see something that I feel looks cheap or maybe it's poorly listed, I will definitely set a snipe and see what happens. And usually if I win those auctions, I get it for a price that I am very, very pleased with, which was the case with this Soto. Worst case scenario is I get stuck with it. I really like Juan Soto. He might be my favorite non-Tigers player in the game. So I don't have any problems keeping that card. I thought it was unique. It's kind of cool that he's in the Yankee uniform, in my opinion. I have kind of mixed thoughts on that, but I'll save that discussion for a different day. But I will not be selling it for less than what I paid for it. I'll keep it if nothing else.
Is that Ricky number?
I think it's out of 60.
60?
Yeah, out of 60.
The year before it switched dates, it was always rain. So it came into Monday. He was like, dude, I'm already late. I got to force my marker.
Okay.
Really? The whole thing just comes out? Right. I mean, that's just like, okay, you don't.
Well, it was nice meeting you. We'll circle back on that.
For the CMC?
Sounds good.
40.
I'll do that.
Right. This deal seems innocuous enough, and really it is, but this is just kind of a fault of my own and something that I am really going to try to work on, and I'll talk more about again at the end of the video. I know I keep alluding to that. But that card I had at $50. That's what I wanted for it. But I end up taking an offer for $40. Why is that? I don't know. I really don't know. Sometimes it's just because I'm in a good mood. If I'm having a good show, maybe I hand out some more deals. But I didn't really need to do that. I really wanted to get 50 for it. Now, you could argue, well, if you wanted to get 50 for it, why not price it at 60 and take 50? Well, then people start complaining that my prices aren't so good anymore. I keep getting compliments on how my prices are good. I'm not going to jack things up, 10, 20% just so I can then be talked down. It's just not how I want to do things. But I needed to stick to my guns here, and I didn't do it, which is a little bit disappointing on myself. But again, I'll talk about it more a little bit later.
What could you do on the Burrow? The comps are like 52.
I'll do 50 on it.
Can you do 45?
I'd be firm at 50.
Is it clean?
I mean, it's offset. I don't think it's a great fit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll hold off on that one.
All right.
I'll just do 40 on this.
Okay.
Right. I don't know. No, I don't have to cut it. I don't
Should you do 130 on this?
I could do 150.
There's a lot of the old.
You're going to have to be 140.
trying to remember what I bought with it to see if I could do that. Okay, here we go again. Similar problem here is that now I'm trying to do the math in my head of what else I bought with this Kershaw, trying to figure out what I'm into it for and all that and what I really need to get out of it to see if I can come down that extra $10, when realistically the easy answer is I want to be at 150. I think I have it at 160 or 175 sticker. I mean, really that's what I actually want for it. I don't just put the stickers on there to make it look pretty. They're on there for a reason. So really I want those numbers, but I shouldn't be going less than 150. I really shouldn't, because that's what I want for this card. I like the card. I don't mind holding on to it. And I think 150 is a very fair price. But now I'm kind of doing these mental gymnastics with myself to try to justify to myself selling it $10 cheaper. And really, I'm doing a huge disservice to myself by doing that. That's fine. 140 is fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Cool. Double check my counting there. Awesome.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're going to be on the Otani and Clark.
Tony is going to be 150. Oh, Clark 150 as well. Yeah, so 300 for the pair.
If I added the Caitlin, where you want to be?
I can do 450 on Caitlin, so you'd be at 750 for all three. Yeah.
Gotta look at the Caitlin.
Yeah.
Is there a reason you haven't rated it with all the other ones?
I mean, I think it's OC.
Can you get to 7?
I'll split it with you at 725.
That's fine. Yeah.
Cool.
I just walked in. I'll be back. No worries. Without cycle fun, man. No worries.
This one's a little bit more unique than the other ones because he's spending quite a bit here. I mean, I would consider any deal over $500 to be a larger purchase, we'll put it that way, because that's kind of how I model my business and how I usually approach cards. That anything over 500 is when I really start to consider it and think about how the sale of that card is going to look. But that Otani card, I was already at or below the average with my sticker, so I probably didn't need to move off my sticker there. Kind of the same thing with Caitlin Clark. I mean, I was dead on with my price, and I took $50 off of it. And I mean, those are names like Otani, Clark, not necessarily Max Clark, but in these parts, Max Clark also really popular. But names that you don't really need to be in a rush to sell. They're very popular. I don't really see that changing anytime soon. Injury aside from Caitlin Clark, you know, these are very popular players. But again, he did spend quite a bit, so this one's a little different.
Could you do 80 for all three? I got the last sale on that one. There's a 35 and a 39. That's all I can find.
That's fine.
Perfect, thank you.
I definitely jumped the gun on this deal. Here are the sales on the McCaffrey. You can see I starred the two that he mentioned. I did not start the two that he didn't mention. You might notice a small correlation between which ones were mentioned and which ones weren't. But I shouldn't have just said yes like that immediately. Sometimes I find myself kind of getting wrapped up in the moment. I'm very meticulous when it comes to pricing my cards. I do a lot of research and making sure that they are very well priced, usually the Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday before a show, depending on when the show starts and how much time I have that week. And I'm always trying to make sure that my prices are up to date and fair for both sides. So when I get thrown a curveball when someone says the last one did this, I'm always thinking to myself, okay, did that just pop off in the last few days, or was I missing something? Like, how could I be that far off? And these are the types of situations that I usually find myself in, and that's when I end up giving a better deal than I probably should. So it's definitely easy to get caught up in the moment, and that's kind of what happened here. Okay, now that you've seen those clips, let me go ahead and tie it all together for you. Since I recorded the first two parts of this vlog, I have been doing a lot of reflecting because I kept noticing during this specific portion of the vlog that I was compromising on my prices way more than I wanted to. And that got me to thinking. So while I was pricing my cards for the Midwest Monster, which takes place the day after I'm recording this and uploading it, I was just curious. If I got my full sticker price for all of my cards that I was bringing with me, what would be my profit margin on those cards? Would I be happy with what I was getting out of them? When I saw what the number would be, I was shocked, to say the least. It was a lot more than I thought, and it was significantly more than what my actual margin is. And that begs the question, well, why is that? Why is it that I have these prices and I am not actually realizing these gains? Well, it has to do with how I price things. I try to find things that are fair, again, prices that are for both the buyer and the seller. I want it fair on both sides. And I spend all that time pricing all these cards out, and I don't just put the labels on there for fun. I put them on there for a reason, because I feel that that is the price. But then I will compromise 10, 15, 20% on each card. And even the small ones where it's only $10 here, $10 there. I know there was a larger deal with the Otani card in the first video, and I had someone ask the question, about walking away from that over $50, but I had already come down $400 off my sticker. Do I really have to come down an extra $50 from that point when I'm pretty much already at my rock bottom? Otherwise, how deep does that rabbit hole go then? Questions that are really tough to answer, but I know that it's things like that that are causing me to not be quite satisfied with how I'm doing. Quite honestly, a lot of the people walking up to my table are probably making more money on these cards than I am, and I just don't think it should probably be that way, especially when you're a full-time dealer. Of course, I want to give people the best deal possible, but I also have to make sure that I'm taking care of myself as well. I want to be a person who is well respected, but this is not the way to earn respect, by basically being a doormat. And I think that I need to be a little bit more true to myself and stay more firm on my prices, because like I said, I do take a lot of time to make sure that I present the cards very well, and I present them at fair prices that are very clear and easy to read. But because of that, I don't need to be giving out huge discounts. If they're already priced to sell, why am I coming down all that extra? Because every $10, $15, $20 chunk every single time, that adds up a lot quicker than you might think, especially when you're looking at some of the numbers that I see. Of course, I can't share everything, and it probably would only make sense to me because my spreadsheet is lines and lines of madness. But regardless, it is something that has weighed on me. I've consulted a few friends about it. And how I want to approach it. I definitely don't want to be the guy who marks things up 20% just so I can get talked down 20%. That's just not my style. Then I kind of lose that luster of being the guy who has his stuff very clearly and fairly priced. Then I'm just the clearly priced guy. But to me, when people say like, oh yeah, this show wasn't any good, all the dealers were high on their cards, I do wonder sometimes, is it because they are actually high on their cards, or is it because they don't feel that they can make money off of the dealer's cards? And perhaps it's a little bit of both. But I know that I've also struggled with some self-doubt, right? I've taken all this time, and then when someone hits me, well, the last one did, I'm thinking to myself, well, how could that be? I spent all this time looking up these cards, at most a couple days before the show. So maybe there was one wonky sale in between the start of the show and when I finished pricing them out. But even then, that shouldn't really reshape the market in most cases. It would have to take something pretty extreme to do that. But I feel a lot of it is what I showed in this video. There's a lot of cherry picking that goes on, or just kind of painting a picture of the market that better suits the buyer. And I know that going into it that I need to trust the homework that I did heading into the show a little bit more and not just take these buyers at their word. Because as you can see, a lot of the times in the clips, their word shows some of the truth and the reality of what the market is, but it doesn't really capture in full what is actually going on. I don't blame them for that. I mean, they're just trying to get the best deal possible, but I need to be a little bit more respectful to myself in that regard. So heading into the Midwest Monster, I am planning on being a bit more firm on my prices. And I'm just kind of saying that ahead of time because that will hopefully be reflected in the vlog, because I'm really working on that with myself. That have the confidence that my prices are fair, have the confidence to stand up for myself and fight for myself in these negotiations. So I can't wait to share that with you. I'm hoping that it works out well. But until then, I will see you on down the road. Take care.